And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy here.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? You met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
But you're more in the category like Luther Richter, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when it's
try
time,
this with you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are having a fantastic and terrific Tuesday. It is Tuesday, y'all. Man, just one, just an extra day closer to what? The weekend. And a lot of people have a 4-day weekend coming up. So I'm really excited for you guys. You get a chance to chill out, do not a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Drink some beers, grill. Hopefully you have a grill. If you don't, then we need to talk. Because that's not American. I'm kidding. That's very un-American. That's very un-American, y'all. But I don't know.
If you're not burning coal to heat up your food, you're un-American.
Yes.
You're not using them gas grills.
Damn,
I don't know what you're talking about. I like clean burning propane.
What the hell? What the hell you talking about? Just talking this mess. But yes. Oh shoot. No, everybody's good. Sorry, right. I had to make sure mics are all good and everything. Anyway, because we got somebody, Arnav was saying, what mic is that? Oh, I see what he's saying. He's talking about this mic.
Oh.
Yeah, the Electro Voice. I forgot what number it is.
Electro Voice.
The RE320. Yes, it's the typical radio, standard radio microphone. You know what I mean? Only the best. Anyway, moving on. Good morning to you, Arnav. Wow. Yes. Case of the Mondays on a Tuesday. Anyway.
All right. Get his last name. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Vedagarba.
It's much. Yeah. All right.
You know what? Arnav, I am sorry if I'm destroying your name. With all due respect, you're the first person on here today, and you're the first time I've ever seen this name, and I'm apparently right. Arnav Vedagarba. Yes, there we go. Arnav Vedagarba. That should be like a speech exercise, a speech warm-up. You know what I'm saying? Arnav Vedagarba. Thank you.
Mine is Pascal Bilbaf.
Yes, that one's a tough one too. You know what I'm saying? But hey, Arnav, please comment down below and let us know where you're commenting from. Thank you so much for checking out this show. Welcome to the Pascal Show. If you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below. We got things to talk about. Mr. Super, good morning. We got to get through all this stuff, but first, I want to say hello to my brothers. We kind of jumped in really easy, really fast. Sorry, Tom, Jack, Watagwan.
Hey,
hello. Good morning on this wet day.
Give me a break. Just don't ever do that again, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like you just went. You got a lot more flavor than that. You got a lot more flavor than that, bruh. You just straight gave it just dry toast. Well, hello. Is that racist now? Am I going to get canceled for doing white voice? That's the question. That's what I'd like to know. Am I going to get in trouble for mimicking Jack because he's white and I'm black? That's the question I have for everybody.
I don't know. Should I call the police?
Don't call the cancel police, please. Just please don't. Please don't.
Jack's just going to go out on his front lawn with a...
Yeah.
Machine
gun.
Ahead,
yeah, great.
Please don't.
No,
do
I
that.
was just gonna hashtag everything Mariah Carey sucks. and see what happens. So,
please don't do that. Please don't do that. I like my life. I like making.
Yeah.
I like doing this for a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that I do this. Woo! Please, I don't ever want to make. I don't ever want to make a pizza again. How's that? Please don't make me do that or sling a drink ever again. You know what I'm saying? That's my own personal nightmare. Mr. Super will give you a pass. White voice needs more nasal though. You know what? Thank you. I'm not going to try that right now. Well, actually, I am. Well, no. That's actually not good. That sounds more like Steve Urkel more than anything else. But anyway, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic start of your morning, and I'm glad that you guys are hanging out with us. And all those who are watching the show from overseas, outside of this country, Australia, Europe, you name it. Thank you so much for watching while you are winding down, getting ready for bed, all that. So I appreciate you guys coming in. But if you got a cup of Joe, which is coffee, enjoy that while we sit down, chat it up, and talk about what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there we go.
if a cup of Joe wasn't coffee, that would be a problem.
That'd be weird. That'd be another. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. Anyway, moving on. Arnav said he is commenting and watching from Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, yeah, hey, man, Boston, Massachusetts. Okay.
Go Red Sox.
They suck.
Go Red Sox. Go away.
How dare you say that?
Like go, like leave. I don't want to see you.
We're still a bit bitter here in St. Louis about the World Series back in 2004. So
just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Thanks for joining our chat room.
Anyway, moving on. Speaking of baseball, there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about here, and it's in our top news. We will be talking about some baseball here fairly shortly. But first, we got to go into what's going on in the world right now. There are 26 states as we speak that are putting pause or are going and shutting down, doing the procedures in which to shut down their states due to the coronavirus, due to the second wave of this pandemic. One of the states, for example, is Kansas State. And the governor of Kansas, Laura Kelly, says that she is now putting on a full mask ordinance that will go into effect this week, starting this week. She says that she's issuing. Sorry, this thing is popping up all these pop-up ads. She'll be issuing a new executive order later this week requiring masks. While the State Finance Council will review the order, a Republican majority panel of legislators that she has clashed with during the pandemic, they cannot revoke it. Only the full legislator has the ability to do that with a concurrent resolution, Kelly's office said. So right now, Kansas is one of the several states in the U.S. that has seen an increase in coronavirus cases over the past few weeks. As of Monday, the state's tally is more than 14,000 cases and 270 deaths. So, because of this uptick across the country, as businesses have reopened, other states with Democratic governors, including California, Washington, and North Carolina, have instituted mask ordinances. Florida and Texas, which have Republican governors, shut down bars after large spikes in the COVID cases. So Kelly said that there is enough data to really prove that the masks work, and no mask doesn't work. I know people don't like masks. I don't like them either. Too bad. So Governor Kelly has been kind of getting under fire because of her issuing this new mandate throughout the state of Kansas. Now, there's some other states that we have that we know are starting to shut things down, especially beaches. Like LA County is starting to shut down the beaches in LA County. There's also talk of California actually shutting down the entire state again, all because there has been a spike in COVID cases. Now, guys, you guys have some other states as well?
Yeah, I think Arizona is ordering bars and gyms to close.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it seems like we're maybe starting to get into that second wave that everybody was warning about. And
Still the first.
Yeah. Well, I guess still the first wave.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I mean, it seems like, I mean, we haven't even finished. Yeah, you're right. We haven't even finished the first wave.
4% of the world's population, 25% of the world's coronavirus cases are in the U.S. I saw an article yesterday that said that the U.S. now has too much coronavirus to be able to control it. That's scary to think about. So, I don't know. It's definitely one of those things where, everyone was really determined to wish it away and hope it would just disappear, led by poor decision making at the top. Implementation of control measures were not put in place, led by a person that decided not to implement his own personal protective, type of stuff out in public, which then gave majority of the American public an idea that it was okay to do the same thing. They said that CNN is saying that, they were going back through and looking at Fox News, and so that they, the disinformation that they spread about it, caused a third of the U.S. to not understand the full potential of what could happen with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder we have a spike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I won't be surprised until almost the entire country is shut down again.
Yeah, it's weird that that's actually going down. It's funny because, this is the reason why, I get scared about, or I pump the brakes when it comes to going to, different places, going to let's just say, going to a gym. I get worried about that. A gym kind of scares me. Going to any type of restaurant of any sort, I get a little worried about it. I mean, I'll go and eat on the patio, but, and that does only so much. But at the same time, it's no matter what, you could get it. Somehow you could get it. It's really, really crazy. And here's another reason why I get worried about it. It's a tiny bit of a left turn, but I do need to talk about this because this is really happening, and this is something that really went down. Planet Fitness customer tests positive for COVID-19, potentially exposing more than 200 people, health officials say. Health officials said more than 200 people may have been exposed to COVID-19 at a Planet Fitness in West Virginia. A patron who visited the gym on June 24th, my birthday, tested positive for the novel coronavirus. So the department advised that roughly 205 people who were at the gym between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on that day to quarantine for 14 days. Man. So they have closed. Apparently, the Planet Fitness said it closed the Morgantown gym for cleaning by a third party and would reopen it on Tuesday. The company also said Monday it was not aware of any additional customers or employees who were reporting symptoms. So you go to a gym, I mean, because we've all been out there. I mean, as soon as you heard about the gyms being open, everybody and their mom is coming out in droves. Everybody and their mom wants to go out and get their pump on. Everybody wants to get their body back. They want to lift, all that stuff. Now, when you hear stuff like that, that stuff does get very scary because no matter what, you're still susceptible. You're still putting yourself in harm's way. You know, and it's like, I guess I wonder when the right time, when there will ever be a right time to open up public facilities like gyms or bars, like full on functioning bars, not 25% capacity type things. I'm talking about full on bars. You know what I mean?
When there's a vaccine.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic. People are like, oh my God, why can't I go back and do these other things that are not required? Because I want to, and I'm bored. I'm bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored.
You've been watching way too many TikTok videos, but yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, understandably, we all want to go and do our thing. Right? We all want to go kick it. We all want to work out. We all want to get ourselves swole. We all want to do what we want to do. But is this the right time to really do any of those things? Is it the right time to go to a Planet Fitness or a Club Fitness or a Gold's Gym to go and get your swole on? I don't know. Because something like this happens. Cases like this happen. Now you got states that are retracting and pedaling backwards from they're basically doing the waves backwards. So they're going, oh, wait, nope, no bars. They're doing it all over again. If you don't notice, they're starting to do it all over again. This is basically like we're going through Groundhog's Day all over again. We're watching the waves go back again. We're watching the first wave of things being shut off. They're going to go, oh, nope, no bars. No gyms. Then it'll be the next thing. And then the next thing. And then next thing you know, all of it shut down. And we're back at it again. California is in the middle of shutting. They're in the process of, they're contemplating, let's just say, shutting down the state all over again. And that says a lot.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's a huge economy to shut down. And, coming up with 4th of July, as you're mentioning, I mean, there's going to be so many people that are going out and about and just don't care. Fireworks displays are still going on. I just read a thing that they were supposed to do the fireworks display for the president and at Mount Rushmore, I guess he's going to. And they said, oh, they won't be enforcing social distancing during that time.
Of course they
won't.
But
it's required at all the other times, just not when the president shows up.
See, and see, that's the thing. Like, that doesn't make, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you go? And I've seen it yes, I've seen it on Fox News. Yes, I do watch Fox News from time to time, guys. Hey. But there was a guy, I don't know who the guy was, but they were having an argument on the show. And there was a moment that you can see on the news anchors' faces that Trump screwed the pooch. Like, he really messed up, because they're going, hey, why would you try to push something like this during a pandemic? Why would you go out and do your rallies but then say no need to wear a mask during these rallies in the middle of a pandemic? And the funny thing is the look, man, I wish I had that video clip. If you saw the look on these people's faces, they're kind of like, oh my God, he's got a point. Trump really messed up. Oh, damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
because it's my choice. My body, my choice.
Exactly. But then you got people, but these are the things that are happening that are, I mean, if I understand that the mask might not be, the best solution, but it is something that's helping, but then you go to a place thinking that you're going to be fine. Like, he went to a mega church in Arizona. Do you realize that they've had the biggest spike in Arizona? Not saying because of because of his rally, but they have large spikes in cases over there in Arizona. They're starting to shut things down as well. They're doing they're going backwards from reopening right now because of everything. Missouri's starting to see an uptick as well. We're starting to see all these things go down. Florida has shut down or will be shutting down their beaches over the 4th of July weekend in hopes that will slow down this wave that we're getting, that we're seeing right now. Just a weekend. That's what they're hoping for. We'll see about that. We'll see if that actually does work. But, you know, it's just wild to me that if there's a pandemic and you're out there doing your rallies, but you're not willing to have people at least put a mandate out there saying you must. You can come and support me all day long, but you must. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not making this stuff up. You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't here to try to bash nobody. I'm just stating what's going on. And those things do not make sense and make him look really bad.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, we're going to be talking about that here.
He has not taken a leadership role in this at all. There was a survey yesterday that came out from Pew Research that showed that only 30% of the public think they can believe what President Trump has to say about coronavirus. Only 30% believes anything he has to say about coronavirus.
30% of people believe what President Trump says about the coronavirus. Don't say only. 30% of people believe him.
I understand that, yeah. But that means 70% of the population is just like, okay, well, there's nobody to look to as to what I do in this situation. And there's so much confusion and misinformation about who to believe. Like, only like half the people believe anything they read in the news about coronavirus. 30% of people believe what Trump says. The group with the largest percentage of trust of the American people is the CDC. And it's like 2 and 3 people, like 66% of people say they believe what the CDC has to say about coronavirus. So there's just because he has not taken a leadership position on this issue at all, nobody knows what to believe. He's contradicting the CDC. He's contradicting the media. He's spreading conspiracy theories that it was created in a lab, which something like half of Republicans believe is true. I mean, he's just muddying the waters of truth and facts that could be used to blunt this pandemic. But instead, nobody knows what's real anymore, and people are getting sick and dying.
And there's still people out there that think that the COVID is not real. Let's not forget that, too. There are people out there that really do think this stuff is fake news, that this is not real. We must reopen so that we can get the economy running and all that stuff. And it's like, wait a second. Take a moment and just look at what's going on in the whole country. This is not fake. This is not made up stuff. This is real talk, y'all. This is real. And this second wave this second wave is getting people. It's really getting people.
I read a thing that said that the virus that is mutated and the main mutation of the virus that now they are finding is different than what originally came out of Wuhan. It is now the part that it creates like the crown when they show you images of what the coronavirus looks like, and it's got all these spikes that are coming off of it. Mm-hmm. The part that allows for that crown thing that be able to like enter into the human DNA, that has become stronger in the mutation that's in the U.S. So it's more easily able to attach to a human subject, and for the one that's in the U.S. compared to where in some of the other countries it's not. So that's not a good thing. It's also, you got to look back too in the overall thing. Here's an administration that doesn't believe in science, that goes against everything possible to eradicate any protections that have been put in place for the environment, that has rolled back different things that are all based on science or the environment, and then looks at the doctors and his intelligence and goes, I can't trust him. I don't know. My gut tells me different. I believe, or I hope that it's just going to go away probably by Easter. Wouldn't that be amazing if it went away by Easter so we can all go back to churches?
Right.
He's leading a pandemic by religious belief as opposed to scientific method. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's running things because he just wants the economy to get back, because he realizes if he's going to be reelected, it's going to have to be on the economy, because nothing else is going well.
Exactly. I totally agree with that, Tom. I think that he is working his tail off, trying to make the country open back up again solely to get his numbers right, at least on the economy side, so that when he does go up against Biden, he at least has that in his back pocket. He's still got that ace up his sleeve. Like, see how the country's going? We making money, y'all. Ain't nobody poor. Hey, look what I've done for the black community as well. Outside of this police reform, financially, I've helped the black community. There's less unemployment in the black community than ever before. I mean, I've run the greatest version of this country ever in the history of presidents. He wants to use those things as an excuse so he can throw that card down. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's why he keeps putting out the whole, we don't need to put on a mask. There's no need for masks. We're fine. See? The fact that I'm not wearing a mask, we are fine. All we got to do is reopen these states so we can get this economy rolling back again. And the thing is you're seeing the numbers. You're not seeing a curve. You're not seeing a flattening of a curve. You're just seeing numbers keep kind of do this. It's crazy. So much that I found this to be very interesting as well. Because you know how Trump has been pushing to open up the country, get things moving. Now, of course, that has inspired people to start their own movements, right? So there is a reopen movement that's out there. The founder of the reopen movement, who refuses to wear masks, guess what happened to him? He tests positive. He tests positive for the coronavirus. He got that Rona. Now, here it is. The founder of a movement to reopen Maryland at the height of the COVID pandemic has tested positive for the virus after refusing to wear a face mask. Tim Walters helped organize rallies with the group Reopen Maryland, demanding that Maryland's governor, Larry Hogan, rescind his stay-at-home order in April. Earlier this week, Walters said that he had tested positive for COVID-19 in a series of Facebook videos, some of which have since been deleted. I was diagnosed, and this is what he said, and I quote, I was diagnosed yesterday at the ER with COVID-19, and here I am months after not wearing a mask at rallies, churches, and so on. And so it's funny how capricious this thing is. So, interesting.
Yeah. I told you guys I wasn't feeling really well. I crashed later in the day. I had to go to the emergency room. I thought I was actually having a stroke, but it turns out I have COVID. Here we are at the end of June, and I get it. It really doesn't make sense. So that was the guy from Maryland that did the reopen protest, and then back in April, the guy from North Carolina that was the leader of the reopen protest, he got it too.
Yeah.
And that doesn't say how many people that attended all those rallies or protests also have it.
Yep. And so it's funny because, a lot of people will sit there and go, oh, no, we're fine. Oh, it's just a flu. Just get through it and we'll be all right. Yet there are people who are dying from it. Literally. More and more cases are popping up now. Even more in the younger demographic. More and more kids are getting sick. More and more families are having to deal with it. And that says a lot, y'all. That says a lot. So as much as people sit there and say, oh, it's not, it's fake news, it's not real, COVID is fake, we're going to be fine, all that. I mean, people are getting sick with this stuff pretty hardcore. maybe the masks is something that we really need to start looking into, in my personal opinion.
You know when people are going to start taking it a little bit more serious?
When?
Is when they're getting so tired that now their children are at home and they can't stand it anymore, and they're demanding the schools be reopened. So they're going to send their kids right back into schools. And then when their kids start getting sick, now that's when the people that thought that it wasn't a big deal are going to start saying, oh gosh, you guys really actually need to really be taking this seriously. Please wear your masks. And you go back 3 weeks, they're like, no, I'll never wear a mask. Everyone's going to change their tune pretty quickly when their families start taking ill and having to go to the hospital and then not having enough room to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Or they're going back to the deciding factor of we kind of forgot that Italy was like, yeah, there's not enough beds, and if you're too old, you don't get a bed, and basically we have to let you die. People, seem to have passed on from that very quickly about the actual effects that this can have when it overruns a town. It's going to be, really trying. I mean, and if people have 4th of July gatherings.
Yeah, I am actually worried about that too, because let's be straight funky, y'all. The uptick is real. It is happening. This is not some fake stuff. People are really getting sick out there. There are people that I know that are sick now with the COVID. It's getting out there, guys. I mean, as much as people think that it's not real, it is very much real. And now this is not, this is my Tucker Carlson moment. But instead of me talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm talking about the COVID. Hide your kids, hide your wife. They're coming. They're knocking on your front door. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. It's really coming. Play and act accordingly. That's it. Now, there are people who want to travel. There are people who want to go out. I've traveled. I've done those things. If you do, travel safely. Do the right thing. Be smart about it. Don't do anything stupid. That's it. I understand people want to go and see fireworks on the, blasting over a body of water. I get that. I totally get that. I'm not saying you can't do those things. Just practice social distancing. Now is the time to really take it seriously. If this second wave is really happening, as it obviously is, maybe it is the time to start taking those precautions seriously. And that's it. And I say this because I love everybody. I care about y'all. I want everybody to be well, But I also want you guys to enjoy your lives. So if you're going to go and enjoy your life, if you decide to travel, do it in a smart way. Practice those things. Social distancing, wearing a mask. Make sure you have a mask with you at all times. That's all it is. Wash your damn hands. That's it.
I'll tell you one place that's not going to be easy to social distance will be on American Airlines.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced that they're going to start booking full capacity flights starting July 1st.
Okay. I'm just going to react to this real quick. I know you're going to say more, Tom. I don't mean to jump in, but what? Why? Why? But why? Por qué? I understand the money, but damn, bruh. That is so stupid. Do you see that the numbers are starting to do this and they're going, well, we're going to start opening. Everything's going to be fine. Come on in and fly on our planes. That is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. Speak on it.
Yeah. No, they're going to start booking full capacity flights starting July 1st. Yeah, plans are being made on how they're going to handle the increase in passengers, but it sounds like they're going ahead with it. Back in May, American Airlines cut its flight capacity by 80%, so passengers could practice social distancing. But I guess they feel now's the right time to roll that back. I don't know why they think this is the right time, but it certainly does not seem like the right time for me. I hope before July 1st they reassess that decision, because that seems really stupid, just catastrophically stupid.
It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Now, I guess my question is, if they're going to do booking at full capacity starting July 1st, my question is this. Does that mean that they're doing booking a month in advance? Are they talking about like as soon as July 1st happens, they're just going open sesame? So if somebody needs to, if there's a whole bunch of people that need to fly starting July 2nd, it'll be a packed flight.
This says they're going to start booking July 1st.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
freaking stupid.
The CEOs really need their bonuses. They didn't get that bailout they were looking for yet. So
Right.
you gotta pack those flights full at any cost. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll fly the windows down. That'd be good.
And they still haven't been able to lay off any workers because they're still bound by their agreement with the government not to fire any of the workers until I believe the fall, at which point they're going to fire a lot of their staff. But yeah, I guess they're just trying to get as much money as they can right now before the bailouts wear out and they have to start paying back the government.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's really stupid. I think that's really, 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 really stupid. And the thing is they should hold that off. They should hold that off for a while.
I would hope so.
They should go at least till the fall. They should just hold off until the fall. And actually, I don't know, man. Nowadays, it's like the way things are coming off, the way things are popping back off. We tried this already, y'all. They opened the doors. They opened the states. They started things going back up again. Then all of a sudden, we're having a second wave. Do we really want to start booking flights, packing flights in the month later on in the month of July? Are we really ready for that? Are we really ready for that? And I'm going to tell you this. Hail to the no. We ain't ready for that at all. I don't care what anybody thinks. We talked about this. And the funny thing is there's been so many times, man. There's been so many times that I've talked about this, and everyone gets all upset with me and sits there and goes, on their keyboards and gets mad at me for saying things that I'm saying right now, you know. And I'm not talking about the fam. I'm talking about people later on when they watch these clips and they get into their feelings because, you know, they don't like hearing what inevitably is going to freaking happen or what inevitably did happen. But I'm going to say this again. We're not ready for this. We really do need to really open everything slowly. We can't just rip the Band-Aid off with this piece, man. We can't. We got to think proper. Obviously, it's not working. We opened up the states and what's happening. Man, I'm looking at every type of news media source, and these numbers are just still going through the roof. Every state in the southern region is red. Damn, yo, red. So all of a sudden as they say, we're gonna wait for the end of this weekend, hoping that it's gonna fly like just a week, 7 days. You really think a week is gonna flatten the curve? Really? Come on, guys. We don't have time to be opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing and just, we're going to pack up a bunch of planes. No problem. We're not going to practice any social distancing. Everyone gets some warm nuts on this plane. Like, what the hell, man? That doesn't make any sense. There are going to be so many people. There's going to be so many people sick. Damn. Everybody needs to stop. Ay, ay, ay.
I do want to make a small correction. They wouldn't be handing out nuts anymore. That's dangerous. There are people with nut allergies. So, you know, they do at least have their customers' best interest in mind when it comes to peanut allergies, not coronavirus.
You know what I'm saying, Tom. Damn it. I'm just playing. No, but real talk. You're right. No more.
I was
nuts.
just pointing out the irony of the fact they've taken peanuts off of planes to protect their customers' health.
Yeah.
But they're going to pack these planes full
Thank you.
just subject everybody to coronavirus.
Who does that?
It just tickles me a little bit.
It
And
tickles
you
me
can't
too.
smoke cigarettes on planes anymore either. Come on now.
It tickles me too. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you think that by doing this, that's going to make everything okay? We're now in a down. Now we're starting to see states like California. California is about to shut them things down. Give it a week. California will be shut down. Why would American Airlines want to go, oh, yeah, come on. Everybody's welcome. No, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a really, really, really bad idea. You know what I mean?
And where would you go on American Airlines? It's not like we're going to be able to go to the European Union. It sounds like we're kind of persona non grata over there because we've handled this so poorly. So,
Yeah.
where are you going to fly to?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I keep saying, everybody, if it's going to be local, if it's in America, within driving distance, just get in your car and drive, man. Enjoy a scenic drive to wherever you need to go to. You know what I'm saying? What's a couple more hours? That's what I personally think. Anyway.
Only thing that would work out with American Airlines is if they made it mandatory for the oxygen mask to drop down, and then you had to wear it the entire time, so you had fresh oxygen. That's the only way I could see it being something that could work out. Otherwise, that circulated air, that's trouble.
Yeah.
And then on the days when those planes, like the air circulation breaks and it's like 90 degrees in the plane, oh gosh, I'm just waiting for that first flight where everyone's just like so upset that they went, and the entire plane gets it. It's going to be fun to read in the news.
Yeah.
Tune in next week, guys.
Yeah.
That's what I and that's one of my main concerns. That's what really scares me more than anything else. You know, that really, really does scare me. That we're just going to get super slammed, or they're going to get super slammed. And then everyone's going to wonder, how's everybody getting sick? How is this uptick happening? Now, I know that there's other people that are sitting there throwing in their theories as well. You know, good morning, Enemy Nation. I understand that, you know, there are people that are saying the riots, the protesters are spreading the virus as well. Now, I can't speak for every single city. I can't speak for every single person, every single protester. But personally, the protests that I've seen and I've witnessed, everybody wore a mask. They were practicing, you know, sanitizing their sanitizing each hands, and there was guys walking around with big vats full of disinfectant gel, hand sanitizers. But, you know, at the same time, I know that there was a lot of people that were clumped together. But at the same time, it was all outdoors as well. So I can't really say anything about that side. All I can say is that, I mean, the upticks are happening because things are open. That's all it really is. I mean, at the end of it all, if we were back to we must be home, we must practice this, that, and the third, I think it would be a different story right now. Now, I'm not saying I have the answer to anything. I don't. But all I know is that maybe we opened up our states a little too soon. That's what I think on that. We just may have opened just a tiny bit too soon. And then Becky, by the way, on Periscope just said something that's very, 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 very correct. You also got to remember, on a plane, speaking of planes, there's something called circulated air. And she just said circulated air equals recycled COVID-19. And that's absolutely true. You're getting in a plane, you're flying around, somebody coughs, that cough goes up and goes back into the vents, gets cycled and spat back out. You know, that's all recycled stuff. That's all recycled air. So, you know, Becky, thank you so much for commenting on Periscope. She is very, very much right. You know, that's something that we have got to consider when it comes to flying. So,
going back to the protest causing COVID, scientists have been looking at that, researchers have been looking at that, and they found no correlation between the protests and outbreaks of COVID. They say that's largely due to the fact that most of the protesters are wearing masks and it's outdoors. So it's not like everybody's in an enclosed area where they're breathing in the same air. They're outside and they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are scientists, there are epidemiologists that are studying what's happening with the protests. And they say so far they've seen no evidence that the protests are causing any sort of surge in COVID.
Thank you for
saying. They
saying
say it's more parties and stuff.
Yes, and thank you so much for saying that, Tom, because yes, you know, I've heard nothing of the sort in regards to cases connecting to people who are protesting. Now, I would say this too. Tana Vane just commented, I wouldn't recommend going to a protest if you want to prevent people who live with you from being sick. And I agree. But if you do end up going to a protest or a large social gathering, whether that's outside or inside, I highly recommend going and getting tested, period. Hey, it's better safe than sorry. That's what I think. If you've been around people that are not your family, that are not your kin, I say it doesn't hurt to go and get tested real quick. You know, there's the places out there that have same day results. Doesn't harm nobody to get out there and just do that, because at the end of the day, you still got to go grocery shopping for a loved one. You still got to go and help somebody do something. You're still going to run into somebody and see them. You're still going to be in close proximity with something or with someone at some general given time, you know? So whether that is somebody that is your blood related or someone you love, it's still just a random person that you just run into, you know? So I recommend getting tested regardless. I feel like people should start making that a thing. You just go get tested. It's the same as like going and getting the AIDS test if you're sexually active. You know, it's just one of those things that just is part of life now. You go, get tested, make sure you're clean. That's it. I think that's something that I recommend. You know what I mean? So that's what I personally think on that. Because, yeah, there's no reason for things like this to be popping up and going off like this. Thinking that you're fine. Thinking that you're untouchable. No, you're not untouchable. You're not Superman. You're not impenetrable from this virus, you know? And I know that there's a lot of people out there that go, well, what's the point of wearing a mask? Because I'm just going to get it anyway. Eventually, I'm going to get it. You know, I'd rather tell the story that I never got in my whole entire life. I don't know about y'all, but I'd rather just say, hey, you know, I'm leaving this planet because I didn't, and I lived through this stuff, but I never got infected with it because I did what I had to do to stay safe and stay healthy. That's, you know.
And we're hearing that it causes permanent lung damage, lung scarring. So, yeah, I'm going to try and avoid it.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you not being able to hit that bong as hard as you used to. You know what I'm saying? Think about it, guys. And that's important.
That's right. Got to have that lung capacity.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Imagine a world where you cannot hit that bong as hard as you used to. Damn, shaking my head. Anyway, we're going to go into a quick commercial break, but when we come back, there's still more crazy news, still more things that are going down. So we're going to be talking about that very, very shortly. We also have something where there is some footage of a country band's concert, live concert, where people were not wearing masks or practicing social distancing. A Chris Jansen concert, which is insane. You got to see the footage. It's crazy. We'll be right back. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Hey, take off to me.
Ms. Feinberg, I'd really appreciate it if you would close your legs.
Do you find it distracting?
Power, respect. The festival is crazy in the streets. Deception, the fakers and leaks. Entertainers are trucking for tweakers and losing their self because their loves are unique. All of us under surveillance. There was a feeling that made it.
see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that. So what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, and we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
You're gonna perform
I'm sorry,
tonight.
I can't make this interview boring because this
No, it's
man
not
is
boring.
too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is gonna leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If this is your first time checking out this show, please go hit that like button on our Facebook page. And of course, hit that like button underneath this feed and let us know you're enjoying the conversation. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And for those of y'all who are watching for the very first time, we do this show 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So you can always come here to the Pascal Show right about that time and just kick it, have a good time with us talking about the things that are going on in the world. Sometimes the world's going down in a barrel of burning cat piss, but you know, we like to talk about it and laugh about it and have a good time about it. So we got some things we got to talk about here. There's some other things that are going on. So here it is. Country music star Chris Jansen was seen doing a video, doing a live concert, where in this live concert, well, nobody was really practicing social distancing. So we're going to pull up this video real quick, short and sweet. Here it is.
Chase Rice is getting slammed for performing a concert in Tennessee on Saturday night where no one in the crowd appeared to be wearing masks. He posted the video on his Instagram story.
Wow. Damn. So there it is. There you have it. We're not going to dive into what ET has to say about this because we have our own opinions about it. But anyway, here it is. If you notice that video, ain't nobody in that crowd wearing any type of PPEs. Not at all. Not one person in this piece is rocking a mask. No one's practicing social distancing. They're all over each other. What's up with that? Tom, Jack, what you guys think? The look on
Jack,
Jack's
I'll let
face.
you weigh in on this.
Come on, Jack.
Well, I considered, in my personal opinion, that country concerts should have been canceled in the first place, regardless of the coronavirus. And this is just another reason that they should just go away. So, I mean,
not a good look.
I don't know if these country stars are looking for, the sad part of life to be able to write their new songs about. They're just creating more issues so that they can do that. I have nothing good to say about this.
Tom.
I think Jack put it beautifully. I mean,
facts.
But yeah, I mean, they're saying that they only half sold the arena that was that it sat 5,000 and they put 2,500 in, and then those 2,500, a lot of them rushed, to be closer. But I mean, nobody was wearing masks. It was just so irresponsible and stupid.
It's not a good look.
No, it's very bad.
Now there's
all screaming and singing at the top of their lungs, making
right.
Their breath and their
right.
Everything else is going out and above everybody else's heads.
Oh yeah, that COVID is just floating out there.
I hear they didn't do any testing either, like temperature checks before they went in to that concert as well.
Yeah, so. They had nothing. They did nothing. No masks, no social distancing. Yeah, the concert took place in Tennessee. And yeah, this thing happened on Saturday night. A lot of other artists are calling his performance or the actual gig that he did was very selfish. So, some people were saying, imagine, who says this? Kelsey Ballerini. I'm assuming she's a country singer. She said, imagine being selfish enough to put thousands of people's health at risk, not to mention the potential ripple effect, and play a normal, in caps, country concert right now. And, that's very, very true. He did not practice any sort of thing. He did not do temperature checks. They didn't offer PPEs right at the door, at least. They didn't do anything of that sort. They just had a full-on concert outside. The concert was outside, mind you, but yes, everybody was all up on each other, kicking it, enjoying the concert. Now, from my understanding, from what I've seen, there are some people that were like, hey, we were practicing social distancing in the very beginning, but then people just bum rushed the stage. Now, is that Chris Jansen's fault or no? I leave that question up. I leave that question up to everyone who's watching, fam. Please comment down below and let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm going to open up that conversation to the guys. So, speak on it, guys. What were you going to say, Tom?
Yeah, it absolutely is Chris Jansen's fault. I mean, if you're on stage and you see everybody doing something that's unsafe to them and the people around you, I mean, you see it all the times where you see people that are getting crushed in the front row. The lead singer will be like, everybody back up.
Yep.
Back up. Go back to where you are. He didn't do that.
No.
He shouldn't have put on the concert to begin with.
Thank you.
And it begs the question, how much money is enough money to put yourself and your community at risk of dying? I mean, I hope he got a big fat paycheck. You know?
Yeah.
I hope he went home and he was just like, well, if a bunch of my fans die, at least I got this, couple $1 million I got tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the money he made is going to hold him over for a few months, because I don't see any reason why he would do something like that. Now, he obviously has said now that the next concert that he has coming up, because he's on like a small tour, so the next concert he's going to be doing is going to be a drive-in. So people are going to be, in the comfort of their own cars, being able to chill, listen to his music. Now, I mean, to me, it's like too little too late in a way, because you still had a whole bunch of young, old, span the demographics of people, a spectrum of people smashed up against your stage, all up on each other, singing your music, singing your songs with no protective gear at all on them whatsoever. And that's really irresponsible, bruh. That's really irresponsible, Jack, what do you think?
So there's two different people. One was Chase Rice, another guy, Chris Jansen. They both played packed concerts on Saturday. One was in Tennessee and one was in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
The people the representatives for Rice said that the venue did all local requirements were abided by for the recent concert. Numerous precautions were taken. We drastically reduced our maximum venue capacity of 10,000 to 4,000 maximum capacity, below the 50% advisement from the state. With less than 1,000 in attendance Saturday night, providing ample space in the outdoor lawn area for fans to spread out to their own comfort level. All guests were given temperature checks prior to entering the venue, and free hand sanitizer was provided to everyone at entry. So that doesn't, really address, everyone.
Wait a second.
We gave them plenty of room out in the lawn.
No, wait a second.
But people will be people, so they bum rush the stage.
So wait a second. So they did do temperature checks.
At this one they did, yes.
At
Rice's,
at Chase Rice's concert. Okay. Chris Jansen, from my understanding, just so that there's no confusion here, Chris Jansen, from my understanding, did not have that. Now, is that correct, or is that?
I'm not seeing anything in reference about them getting tested or anything, or provided anything at his. So.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's a special kind of stupid, y'all. And now here's the thing. I understand. There's people out there. I don't understand that. But I understand that there are people out there that think that we should be fine, Trump, in large groups, that we should be fine. But wait till Jansen gets sued by somebody.
Oh, you didn't read the fine print?
I'm sure of that.
The city of Nashville now announced a mandatory mask policy for all public spaces as of Sunday. So probably to avoid situations like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand homeboy needs to secure the bag. I get that. You need to secure the bags. I get that. But at the same time, you got to make sure your people are safe. You got to make sure your fans are safe. Like, and I get it that he probably is excited to be back out there again, to be performing. I mean, you know, he said, "We back," and he's doing this whole thing. But it's like you completely threw out of the window the sole idea of the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know, just a thought. You just forgot about that. That's gone out the window. Just completely forgot about that. You sure you want to put that on Instagram, that story? So, like I said, if there's, I hope nobody gets sick. I mean, that's all I could say. I hope no one gets sick. There's no issues over there. But I'm glad that he is doing a drive-in shows from now on, which is weird to me. That's an interesting concept, drive-in shows. It's a very interesting concept.
If I were at that show, I'd just honk my horn through the whole show. He's like, "Nah, I don't want to hear that garbage." Hey, I've got a new song I'm playing here tonight. I'm going to share it with you now. He starts some acoustic song, just blare right through it. That would be me at the Chris Jansen concert.
Yeah, throw your rumble pack on your truck, Tom, and go over there and set everybody's alarms off.
Go out there and just crank my own car stereo to music that doesn't suck.
Yeah. Where's your Calliope when you need it, right?
That's right. Yes.
I'm done. I am done. Anyway, let's move on to some other conversations, other pieces of news. Tommy, I'm going to let you run lead on this one. What's going on in the world, man?
All right. Well, let's see. We can talk about, well, I guess while we're on the subject of mask wearing and pandemic, Kansas City's black mayor said Monday that he was called a racist slur and told he should, quote unquote, swing from a tree after he announced mandatory face masks in the Missouri city. Mayor Quentin Lucas on Twitter shared a screenshot of the text, which came after he announced Friday that masks will be required in Kansas City when 6 feet of separation isn't feasible. The text he received said, "You walked with rioters, not wearing a mask, idiot. You should swing from a tree. I'm not threatening it, but would love to see it." So, if you were looking for that nice nexus point of racism and pandemic news, here you are.
Wow.
That's what's going on across the state.
Here's what's going on in your neck of the woods. Anyway, interesting. Why? That's interesting.
Yeah.
He says he puts out that mandate, and everyone starts getting in their feelings, and say, literally swing from a tree.
Yeah. The world we live in now, isn't it great?
Yeah.
But that's not a threat, though.
It's not a threat. No, he made very sure to say, "I'm not threatening it. I would just love to see it."
I'm not racist, but
yeah. I
wonder
who that person's voting for.
Yeah. You know, if he actually runs, but that's another conversation in itself now, is it? Okay, moving on. Yeah, that's a special type of trash. Whoever's saying those kind of things, that's messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's some trash, and you should be swinging from a tree. Real talk. So you should go F yourself in the strongest form of F I could ever use on a broadcast without getting censored. You're a piece of trash. Anyway, that's terrible that actually happened. Now, I understand that AMC Theaters is also delaying opening their theaters for another 2 weeks. Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah, their AMC said yesterday that they are delaying the reopening of their theaters by 2 weeks. So they're planning now to open on July 30th. They'll still be open, I guess, in time for Disney's Mulan and Christopher Nolan's Tenet.
You know what my theory is? My theory is that they're going to just end up putting a lot of those things streaming. I have a feeling. I mean, if it continues to go the way it's going. If we're going in the same route that we're going right now, I don't want to repeat. But, well, we are repeating. anyway, so I'm going to repeat. If we keep going the way that we're going, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep holding that they keep pushing that back till September.
Yeah.
At this rate, I mean, at this rate, at this rhythm, I think AMC needs to just kind of go, you know what? Let's come up with another approach for like January. You know?
We're bringing VHS back.
That'd be funny. But you see what I'm saying? Just something else. There's got to be some other way that they can do what they need to do. I understand AMC needs to secure the bags. I know that they need to make the monies. I get that. But at the same time, I'm curious if they really will open at the end of July. I think not.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Like, successfully. Like, I feel bad because here it is. Christopher Nolan is the GOAT, right? Christopher Nolan's an amazing filmmaker. That movie looks amazing as well. But do you really think people are going to go out in droves just to see this movie in a movie theater? Hell to the no. Hell to the no. They're going to wait for it to go out on stream or get out on DVD or something like that. Or until it's bootleg, and then they're watching on bootleg. But other than that, I don't see them going out of their way. Ooh, I must get into the theater so I can see this. No, they're going to wait till it goes on stream. So I keep thinking that these movies, Christopher Nolan, Mulan's already got, I mean, shoot, man, Disney already got their own platform, bruh. All they got to do is put it on Disney Plus and they good. Why not? They're doing that for Alexander Hamilton. And that was supposed to be a theatrical release. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
AMC is definitely hurting. And I mean, I think we've talked about it before,
Yeah.
but that, that Trolls 2 movie that came out, that was supposed to go into theaters, that was released on streaming instead, that really upset AMC and other owners of theater chains, because they were saying that, you're taking money away from us. And they threatened, I forget who produced that movie, but they produced whatever production house made that movie with never showing any of their movies in AMC theaters ever again. I mean, I feel for AMC. This is kind of an existential crisis for them, because it's very difficult to see how they're going to maintain their business going forward if this pandemic doesn't get under control. But I mean, I love going to see movies. Before all this started, I would go see a movie a week. Every week I'd go see a movie. And you couldn't pay me to go see a movie in a theater now and sit around people. Because some people that go to movie theaters are disgusting people. You're liable to get sick just going there on a good day. During a pandemic, good Lord, no way.
Yeah. Like I said, I have a feeling this is going to be the lowest grossing movie for Christopher Nolan, hands down.
By a wide margin.
Yeah, unless he gets smart with it and puts it on stream. And then everyone can pay their $20 and they can watch the movie at their leisure without worries of getting any type of Rona. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
And you can control the volume at your house. Christopher Nolan movies are always too loud for me. So.
Oh, really? Wow, you sound like an old ass man.
I'm sorry,
These
I
damn
love Christopher Nolan movies,
movies,
but I always walk out of them deaf for like 3 or 4 hours afterwards.
These damn Nolan movies are way too loud. They need to turn down the volume. They're hurting my eardrums. You sound like an old ass man.
He was part of a wave of, I think, directors. A lot of the Bourne movies are like this too, where there'll be like a lot of whispering. Okay, they're around this corner. Hang on. And then there's just machine gun fire. And it's like, oh my God. So it's like, your ears adjust to hearing whispering, and all of a sudden there's like a bomb goes off, and I about poop my pants. I'd rather just watch it at home and control the volume.
I'm done with you.
Just know that people are whispering, and I'll start turning it down because I know something's going to get loud very soon.
I'm done. I am done with you, man. It's okay, Tom. It's okay. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Just so you know.
It's too loud.
It's too loud.
I'm like a dog at a 4th of July fireworks.
Too many noises. Too many noises. Too loud. Too many noises. They're too loud. Turn it down. I already hear him. I hear him. We're already pulled over. We're pulled all the way over. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about sports. We got to talk about a little bit about sports. Did you guys hear about the so Major League Baseball is going to be back in full effect here very, very soon. But my understanding is that there are some major baseball players that are opting out this season due to the coronavirus concerns. So, Jack, speak on it, bruh.
So, yeah, baseball's trying to make its comeback. And it just is getting a little slowed down because now some of the players are saying that they don't want to come back. So MLB is allowing players who are deemed high risk to opt out of playing and not lose their prorated season salaries or service time. Players who are not considered high risk can also opt out, but then they would forfeit their salaries and not accrue their service time. So, that's leaving. Some people are like, well, should I come back and play baseball, or is leaving my family and going and traveling going to be a risk? And so Mike Leake from the Diamondbacks was the first player reported to have withdrawn. His agent said in a statement on June 29th that Leake came to his decision after speaking with his family. They took countless factors into consideration, many of which are personal to him and his family. He's giving up $5 million in salary, the amount he would have made in MLB's planned 60-game season, and he'll become a free agent in the offseason if the Diamondbacks decline their $18 million club option for 2021 and pay him a $5 million buyout. So Ryan Zimmerman from the Nationals, he's the longest tenured player there. He's also cited family concerns and his decision to stay away. Given my family circumstances, 3 young children, including a newborn and a mother at high risk, I've decided not to participate in the 2020 season. There's Joe Ross from the Nationals, Ian Desmond from the Rockies. The list goes on. But these are guys that are giving up, millions of dollars because they feel like it's not safe enough for them to go back and to play baseball. Even if the stands are not filled with fans, and they're still just going into the locker room. They're going around all the management. They're going around all the maintenance people. They're going around the club, team members, and there's still a lot of people that you come in contact with when you're traveling to and also attending into a stadium. There's I understand that risk for them, and to say, oh no, we must have sports. Yeah. Like, is this a time to have sports? Like, I understand during world wars, we still had sports going on. It was meant to bring the nation together and give the nation something to rally behind and still have as that glimmer of hope, right? But this is a different scenario. I just don't understand why it would be forced. Of all the things to open back up, I don't think that sports are a necessity. Unfortunately.
Right on. So here's the thing. This is the obviously where we're at. I don't blame any of those athletes wanting to take this season and just stepping back and not doing this season at all. I mean, first off, it's a prorated season, so probably their pay got prorated as well. Now that doesn't excuse them not wanting to play, but I understand their concerns in regards to not wanting to get sick, not wanting to come back and get their loved ones sick, them going on the road and then coming back to their kids and their wives and kids and all that, their family. It's too much of a risk. So I understand why some of these major athletes are pumping the brakes on the idea of doing this season, But, let me throw the question out to you guys. Definitely comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you think that they should be just going back to the regular season? Should they be playing or should they not? Tom, what do you think?
I'm okay with seeing baseball as long as I can figure out. I mean, because baseball specifically there's a lot of social distancing already in baseball. It's not like football where, on every play, everybody's on top of each other, breathing hard in their faces and everything. Everybody's already kind of spread out in baseball. So I'm kind of okay with it that way. I would more worry about how they're traveling from city to city, if they're maintaining social distancing then. But I think it could be an interesting year. I totally get players not wanting to play this season. I'm not faulting them for it at all. I can totally see if you're a highly paid baseball player and you got a ton of money already and maybe you're in the twilight of your career, that you might be like, okay, I'm going to take this year off. And it might give an opportunity for a lot of younger players trying to grind out the beginning of a career for them to maybe shine a little more.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be kind of an interesting season, if they can keep everybody safe and healthy.
Interesting. So you're okay with it then, in a way, doing the season right now?
If there are no fans there and they're able to keep people the players socially distanced, and if they're able to get them from city to city without, putting them in danger, then I don't really see a problem with it. And I think it could be good for the country to kind of have something to take their mind off of the, unrelenting show that this year has been so far.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be okay for them to start if they can do it safely.
A little bit of a mental vacation, if you will.
Yeah, just something
having a mental
so people
vacation.
aren't just getting crushed by this year, which has just been awful.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'll say this, and I agree, to a certain extent to what you're saying, Tom. But at the same time, I feel that if there's no way of them actually being able to successfully do what they need to do, because you also got to remember there's still traveling involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
That's the part that I worry about too. I have no problem with there's nobody in the stands. That's fine. But they still have to deal with getting in planes, traveling to another place, dealing with going into hotels. There's still a lot of contact with other people that is involved before they go and step out on the diamond. So that's the one thing that majorly concerns me. If I was a player, I would be very concerned about that specific thing right off the bat. Okay, right. Yes, I do want everybody to have a good time. I do want to have everybody have a mental vacation, a little bit of escapism, if you will, from the daily, as you just said, show that is going on with things. But at the same time, I don't want to put myself at risk. I don't want to be the guinea pig of this season just so I can secure the bags and give people some escapism. So I kind of think of it would be really great to have baseball running again this summer, but maybe it's too soon, especially with everything shutting back down again. Maybe it's too soon. Because the other thing, too, is, just a quick segue. Same thing. NHL is trying to get things up and running as well. They're trying to finish out their season. They're trying to finish the season right now. They're still in the middle of trying to figure out what two cities, because there's going to be two cities, I think one in Canada and one in America, that's going to house all the games at the same during this time, so that they can get to a Stanley Cup type of finals. Now, are we ready for that? At the end of the day, are we fully ready for sports to be back out in the forefront for everyone to enjoy, whether or not we have an audience and people in the stands? Are we really ready for that? I leave the question up to you guys. Comment below.
They already had some spring training type of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And the Philadelphia Phillies revealed that 5 players and 3 staff members recently tested positive after working out at the team facility in Clearwater, Florida. So, and that's just this week that they came out with that. So, and if they're already testing positive while training,
they're testing. Wait, I'm sorry. They're testing positive right now as we speak. During spring training. During spring training,
five players and 3 staff members recently tested positive after working out at the team facility in Clearwater, Florida.
Have mercy. See what I'm saying? Those are the things. That's the stuff that I ain't like. That's that ish I don't like. I don't like that, man. I don't like that idea. And then I can understand why. That's probably the information that these other players have gotten, and they're going, nope, I'm good on it. I'll sit out this season. I will sit out this season. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them. Besides, think about this, though, too. What kind of season would it be without having the heavy hitters in there? The people that you support and root for, and the jerseys that you're wearing, the numbers that you wear on your back or on your chest, you know what I'm saying? That you're rooting for your team players. And those team players aren't even in the room. They aren't even out in the field. I don't know, that would make me feel some type of way too. Then, that's losing spectators that have lost interest in watching because the people that they usually support aren't out in the field hitting the damn ball. Like I said, are we ready for it? Or does this chalk up as like a COVID season? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the baseball season 2020, the COVID edition. You know what I'm saying? Like what constitutes? Does it even constitute as a real season in a way? See what I'm saying? Think about it. Then all of a sudden somebody wins the World Series. It's like, then everybody's like, nah, he didn't really win. They didn't really win that. You know what I'm saying? Because, COVID. They didn't even have half their team. They didn't have the energy in the room, out in the stands, rooting for them. They didn't have all the other, atmospheric conditions going on. You see what I'm saying? People are going to pull excuses out their ass when, say, the Cubs win again. Then they go,
unacceptable.
No. Unacceptable, man. It's COVID. That don't count. That's COVID. COVID happened. That was the Rona season. That don't count, man. You see what I'm saying? We didn't have our such and such. Go ahead.
You got to put that asterisk next to it,
Right.
Yeah, he won. But, he was on those antibodies from COVID, and they got like that little bit of HGH in it. So.
Facts, man. So you see what I'm saying? So in a way, I keep thinking so that's why I keep thinking, why not just take this brief moment, this Corona break, you know what I mean? Can have a moment of silence for this brief Corona break and just have the break. Start up next year. I understand they all want to secure the bags, but I feel like the bags are already effed up this season.
I mean, the question is, if they already have them still training and they're still requiring people to come for training camps or things like that, then it doesn't matter whether or not they're playing or not because they're all still together anyway. If all the teams are all still together, I mean, it just makes it a little bit easier to transition to an actual game as opposed to just doing training. But it's still, I don't know, I think it's reckless to move that quickly. Especially like right now, if they see that everything's spiking, and to say, "Oh no, it's good. Let's go ahead and get groups of people together consistently."
Right. I don't know. We do have some comments here. Let me read one of these. Queen Empress, good morning. Queen said, "I love Facebook. I love football. Seahawks all day, but I don't want the team getting sick. Bottom line, sports is entertainment, not an essential." Mr. Super said, the NHL strike shortened season was the best. Every game mattered. Now, I get that. I get it. But do we do that at the cost of somebody's health or multiple people's health? If they're already saying, as Jack just said, if they're having spring training and people are actually contracting COVID during spring training, Is it really that important that we have a game? Is it really that important that we have a season right now? Like I said, I feel like like I said, I understand everybody's trying to secure the bags. NBA is trying to get things up and running. I understand all that mess. We all want to make money. We all want to secure the bags. But at the same time, is it really that necessary to jump all up in it like that? I say we pump the brakes. We hold out. We get the vaccine, whatever it might be. We eradicate this situation. We flatten the curve, or we kill it all the way down dead. And then we start a season. And start everything fresh and anew. The top of the in 21. I would hope. I would hope in 21. You know, at least have some semblance of something in 2021. You know, but right now, I don't think it's a good idea. That's just what I personally think. I think everybody needs to work on. We need to focus on our health. Focus on health. That's
Remember that Tupac virtual concert they did?
Yeah.
They could just have everyone play, like, actually, like, showing them streaming and playing, like, MLB Live on Xbox or something.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say about esports, man. Esports is killing it. That is a growing industry. I mean, I understand it ain't a real player actually really playing, but you know what I'm saying. It's some other form of entertainment.
Yeah. Have those players play their players in the game.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be actually funny.
It's my big hands, man. I can't.
Yeah. I can't seem to play this. How do I play myself? I don't get this. I hit B. Where's B? You know what I mean? Anyway, I think that's a very very interesting situation going on with baseball, and I feel like it's going to slowly trickle over to every other sport as well, because not everybody's okay with it. I mean, as much as they keep saying like, "Oh yeah, the NBA has it all figured out." Every time that they chuck out the ball, it's going to be a new sanitized ball. What? Excuse me? But you still got to factor in that they're full court press, the man on man, they're sweating on each other, like all this stuff. Like it just, you got to factor all those things in. And if baseball is not cool with it and is not as full contact as football or football or basketball, come on, guys. It's only a matter of time that LeBron steps up and says, nah, I ain't cool with this either, y'all. We got to pump the brakes, man. Gots to pump the brakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, remember the Summer Olympics also start next year. Remember how we had to cancel the Olympics?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if we had to cancel the Olympics, I think the normal games can be delayed a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So
that's funny. I'm reading somebody. Steven, what's up? Steven said, but they're gonna ban spitting and pitchers licking their fingers. And he said Braun ain't stopping. That's true. That's very, very true. Mr. Super said, I understand Tom's point about having sports would be a good distraction, but I think that we should shut it down. We need to eliminate all variables to reopen schools as a priority. And, you know, I agree with that too. You know, Mr. Super, I agree. You know, in this, they're obviously talking about reopening schools so that kids can actually be in school, in class school starting in August. So, bruh, that's only 30 days away. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. Yeah. It's 30 days away. Are we ready for that? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So if we're not ready to put kids in schools and we're going to do virtual classes again, which is a good possibility here, are we really ready to start doing baseball? Are we really ready to do all these sports? I think not. Mm-hmm. You know?
Well, the American American Academy of Pediatrics has recently come out and said that students should return to in-person classes in the fall. That the benefits of going to a brick and mortar school right now outweigh the risks of the virus. They're saying that if kids are kept at home for too long and are not allowed to go back to their social lives, that risks suicide, depression, and stunted social growth. So the American Academy of Pediatrics is saying kids should be going back to school in the fall.
It's
In
all the
person.
money.
What did you
All
say?
the money for that one.
All the money for that one, you said,
No,
Jack?
follow the money for that.
Oh, thank
suggestion.
you. Now here's something. Schools. Let's just say this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Okay? Schools being open in August. What do you guys think? Do you think it's ready? Do you think schools will be ready in August? Let's go around the room.
Hold on. So let me lay out a thing that I read about schools reopening. So you're going to take the kids, you're going to put them in a room, set them in one room. You're not going to have windows open because it's being the middle of the hottest times. So you're going to have AC going and circulating. You're going to have these children that already are limited in their recess or their PE. A lot of schools are limited down to 15 minutes for like the day. And now they're taking that part completely away. They're going to have the kids stay in their seats for the majority of the day. The students that were originally going from room to room, now we're going to have teachers come to the different rooms so they don't have to transfer as much. They have to eat their lunch at their desks. They had to stay at their desks for the entire day. So you think that sitting down kids and forcing them not to move and in a closed room, and we already don't have enough teachers already to teach bulk students, so how are we going to spread that out? So some of the kids get to come back and some don't? Or like what? If you already have one teacher that has to teach 60 kids, well, you can't now all of a sudden have that one teacher running in between rooms where 15 kids are in each room to social distance them. And New York saw cases of children that were having symptoms from coronavirus to where they were having like phantom pain throughout their entire body. Like similar to Kawasaki syndrome, to where they're like feeling inflamed and like burning pains. So again, like I was saying earlier, once kids go back to school and then the kids start getting sick, or the parents that are dropping the kids off and the teachers start getting sick as well, like it's not going to be like South Korea started to open up their schools and a week later had to shut it down because within the first 2 days people were getting sick.
Yeah.
Like it has not gone well around the world when they've been trying to reopen schools already. Why we think we can do it when we have largest surges going on, like, is beyond me. And again, bored parents that can't handle their children at home, that don't want to have their kids at home, that don't want to actually parent all the time because it's too hard for them. Like, the push for kids to go back to school is not about caring about the pandemic. It's about people wanting their lives to get to a normal status again, to where their kids aren't all around them all the time. Are you going to raise the teachers' salaries, just like they're giving extra money to the people that are in the ERs and things like that?
Yeah,
Are the teachers actually going to get some kind of a health pay for being in a high-risk situation?
Absolutely.
Because they're already underpaid in the first place.
Absolutely.
So,
They should be.
But I have a hard time doing e-learning. It's hard for me to get my kid to sit down in front of the computer. So I'd rather send my kid back and have a chance of getting a deadly illness. Like, I don't know. It infuriates me.
Nah. I'll read the American Academy of Pediatrics reasoning on this. They said lengthy time away from school and associated interruption of supportive services often results in social isolation, making it difficult for schools to identify and address important learning deficits, as well as child and adolescent physical or sexual abuse, substance abuse, depression, or suicidal ideation. So I think from the viewpoint of the American Academy of Pediatrics, their fear is that the teachers are not able to kind of identify how a child is developing and what may be going on at home. And that also, as these children are socially isolated, they may become suicidal, depressed, turn to substance abuse, that sort of thing. Dr. Fauci also at the CDC is saying he doesn't think at this time a full shutdown of schools is totally necessary. But, it's one of those things we'll have to wait and see on. But hopefully they take kind of a fluid approach to this, that if we do open things up like South Korea and it starts spreading, we can go back to e-learning. But that's kind of where the American Academy of Pediatrics is coming from with their reasoning.
Here it is. There is a pandemic out there. People are getting sick. Putting your kids out there, that's the thing. It kind of goes down to the parents. It all goes down to the parents. Has nothing to do with whether the kid goes to school or not. It's more of are the parents, one, comfortable with putting the kids back in school? That's it. I understand that there are parents out there that are desperate to put their kids back in school because, like we just said and Jack just said earlier, there's a lot of parents that don't really, don't know how to deal with their child on a 24-hour basis, every day, 7 days a week. But at the same time, you would think that this right now, during this time that we've had, obviously summer's happening right now, but when we went into this whole lockdown, school was happening at home. So you'd think that these parents would know how to deal with said situation if they have to keep their child at home, if they're not comfortable with keeping their child, if they're not comfortable with having their child in school. Now, I can't speak on behalf of a parent because I am not a parent, but at the same time, I feel like if I had a child, there ain't no way that kid's going back to school until this stuff is okay. Because now you got that kid going out there. There's no way, shape, or form that kid's just going to stay in his little area, boxed area, not touching or moving around and being with other kids. I mean, that's how a lot of these kids get sick. They're all over each other. They're doing this and they're touching each other. They're giving each other the germs that are being passed around on the daily is insane in those schools. So now I'm going to put my kid out there just so he can be back in school? Like that, too much of a high risk situation, in my personal opinion. And then that's the same thing. And that's the same thing for these and that's the same thing for these teachers as well. especially the younger, the elementary school, kindergarten, and preschool teachers. They're putting themselves in serious harm's way. Once you get into junior high, high school, I'm sure that there's some levels of control you can have because the kids are mature. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, they understand what's going on. They understand what's going on, But at the same time, younger elementary, preschool, like kindergarten, preschool, you're pretty much playing roulette, in my personal opinion, What were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm reading some of the precautions they're saying people should take. It says pre-kindergarten schools should focus on hand hygiene, cohorting classes to minimize crossover among children and adults, and utilizing outdoor spaces when possible. Face coverings and physical distancing are lower priorities, as these strategies may be harder to implement on younger children. But in middle and high schools, universal face coverings should be required when a 6-foot distance is not able to be maintained, and desks should be placed 3 to 6 feet apart. Yeah. So that's sort of where they're at right now.
Can I throw something in? I got a comment here. Shanta Claire on YouTube just asked, what about full-time working parents? With no daycare, they have to figure something out. And, and that's something... That's really loud. And that's something that is a huge concern, of course, as well. There's a lot of full-time working parents out there for sure. And there's a lot of parents out there that are not willing to sacrifice. Some parents cannot sacrifice their job to stay at home and take care of their kids 24/7. That's a lot. That's a lot to risk. Because of course, there's a lot of families that are both working parents contribute to the mortgage, contribute to the family bills, to their kids' schooling, et cetera, et cetera. So I can understand that, yes, you know, there's a lot of parents out there that need that kind of help because they got to go out and work. And not all parents are lucky enough to be able to be in a work-at-home situation, which I understand, totally understand that. But yeah, with no daycare, they're kind of screwed. So it's like, what do? You know, unless you pay somebody to watch your kids, but then at the same time, you got somebody you are putting your kids at risk with because you don't know where they've been. So on and so forth. You know, you're putting your kids at risk every time. If you had somebody like an au pair, that's the fancy way of saying a nanny. You know? What are you going to say, Jack?
Am I blowing your ears out still? Is it? I fix it.
It's a little loud, but yeah.
I don't understand why I didn't do anything different.
It's all
messed
good.
Up. So, I mean, if you force the economy to reopen,
yeah,
then yes, all those people that are sitting there that have to fend for themselves to be able to get more money, especially if they can't get unemployment, if the one-time stimulus check that came in wasn't enough to sustain them for more than, you know, a month, and now they're here and they're going through all their savings and their mortgage payment or their bills are backing up, and maybe they make a bubble payment coming up here soon. Like, people have to earn cash. I get it. And our country has been led into this situation to where people were given a small break and then forced to go back in while things were still being, you know, unraveled. And you know, it's, I don't, again, follow the money. Because the economy has to make money, and now the parents have to go back to make money to pay for the things that they had to pay for. The children are going to be put at risk. And that's going to happen in a lot of cities. I think it's already happening. You know, daycares are still open. I still see places that are accepting people to come in. Churches have opened back up. The weekend services are there. You know, there are still these religious schools that are having all of their things going on. I mean, I don't know. It is a rough situation to be in. I don't like the decisions people have to make. And you know, because they are literally between a rock and a hard place, and where the rock is losing your home, and the hard place is maybe possibly losing a family member.
Yeah,
I mean, that's maybe the kids go there. Maybe the kids are less susceptible to get it, right? But they may still carry it. So the kid goes to school in contact with somebody else. They shared their chips. They switched their sandwiches at lunch, or whatever it may be. Oh, I took a drink out of the wrong cup. We shared that water fountain, and touched the same door, blew my nose, and now they bring it home. I mean, that's the concern. Is it's not only an incubation area for all these people. If you drop off, you know, how many kids are in an average school in the U.S.? 100, 200. You go into high schools and in other schools, 400. I mean, how are you going to limit them? You only have so many classrooms. You only have so many teachers. Even if people are doing these partial things, or some do e-learning and still come back to the brick and mortar. I mean, again, people are going to congregate. I already see young kids standing outside the McDonald's, and they pull up in their 3 or 4 cars, and then they get out and they're all hanging out, and no one's got masks on. I mean, you're going to throw these kids back into school, and you think they're going to stay away from each other?
Yeah, it's impossible. It's literally impossible.
They're now throwing some hormones too.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Have mercy. And then, you know, and you also got to remember, I mean, it's the human condition that we all want to be in connection with each other. We all want to communicate. We all want to know each other. We all want to be around each other. You know, that we want to have physical contact with each other. I mean, it's inevitable that's what's going to is going to happen. This is the reason why the virus is spread so quickly, because and continues to spread so quickly because of that. We are on top of each other, you know, all the time. That's just who we are as humans. But and you definitely got a point. I mean, there's so many different factors that you got to risk and throw in. And like I said before, I don't know if you know, I feel like a first semester should be at home. Now, I know that sucks for a lot of parents that need to work, so I understand that part. I do understand that part. But I feel like there's a lot that is too soon. It's too early to say right now. Like, we need to figure out what's going on before we just start thrusting our children into schools when there's a second wave right now that we're in the middle of starting. Now, there's something that I don't know, that I've never heard before in my life. So please, guys, do not judge me. I'm going to ask this question. You know, I'm not somebody who's I'm not a walking, I'm not a walking internet or walking Google. It's funny because you can't even say encyclopedia anymore. But bubble pods, I have never heard of that before in my life. Now, I know you mentioned that before, Jack, in you talking, and Queen Empress just mentioned it earlier as well. And I'm curious as to what the heck is a bubble pod. I've never heard of that before in my life.
Have you seen that movie, The Bubble Boy?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Yeah. So imagine putting everybody inside of a bubble, literally a bubble.
No.
Like,
I mean,
you want to go out and about? Here you go. You are.
I mean, this is
covered by.
Like, this is
covered.
But I'm asking you, this is dead ass, or is this like some kind of joke?
No,
you know
100%.
what I'm saying? This is dead ass. No, Tom's laughing, so I'm going, okay, is this real, or is this some sort of like funny thing? You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I'm laughing at the thought of like a first grade teacher trying to maintain a classroom full of 7-year-olds in bubble pods that are just bouncing into each other and just trying to teach like the presidents.
You got to picture something else a little bit. This is more like a tent that can go basically around a desk. So you could sit a desk inside of it. It's like what you would see the soccer mom sitting in on the side of a field when it's raining.
Gotcha.
And I'll pull one up here to show you what it looks like.
I just had this vision in my mind of like first graders like bouncing around the room in their little bubble pods and like bouncing into each other, and like 3 kids getting together and throwing another kid.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, I'm just trying to imagine some poor teacher trying to maintain order.
Actually, I'm gonna pull it up here.
Oh, you got a photo? I was trying to save one, but
yeah, I'm gonna look this up. But yeah, continue telling us a little bit about this thing, because this is a fascinating idea.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of one of those, everyone and their plastic pods. I mean, it is just here, come to school to be next to people, but you got to be inside of this, it's basically like a cage, a clear cage.
Pretty much,
that you're putting somebody into and forcing them to sit there to indoctrinate them with your education.
Interesting. I'm trying to look for it in.
It's the same thing that people might want to use while they're going out to eat, and they will set up individual spots where people can sit. I mean, it just is. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's very, very futuristic.
Interesting. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it, honestly. But because I saw other types of pods, and it didn't show anything in a classroom type of deal. But it is an interesting thought, and it is an interesting, kind of approach. I've seen ones where it's like a glass cone, or a plastic cone that's just kind of hovering over your head. Not really covering your entire body, but just kind of hovering over your head. I've seen those kind of things, but I didn't know that they were called pods. That's quite a interesting. That's weird, but that's quite a thought, y'all. That's something to think about for sure. You know what I mean? That's definitely something to think about for sure. But anyway, we got to go into a quick commercial break. We will be right back. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Hey, take off Ms. Feinberg, I'd really appreciate it if you would close your legs.
Do you find it distracting.
Power, respect. The festival is crazy in the streets. Deception, the fakers and leaks. Entertainers are trucking for tweakers and losing their circles. Their loves are unique. All of us under surveillance. We was a feeling that made it. Half of them stumbling around and they faded. They live in the world that's degrading for people that's constantly hated.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean, rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
I'm sorry, I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is gonna leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood, we inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If this is your first time checking out this show, please go hit that like button underneath this video right now as we speak. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. We would really, really appreciate that. Anyway, moving on to other pieces of news. Now, obviously, before we go into our next subject, so that's the bubble pod that you were talking about, right, Jack?
Yeah, these are like one of the versions of it. I mean, basically the same idea, you know.
Yeah, let me see.
They're just, just enclosed things just to keep everybody away from it.
Lean out the way. There we go. Interesting. So that's kind of an example of what would be like. Imagine a desk in it. So something slightly bigger with a desk in it.
Reminds me of an outhouse. I'd be worried a kid would take a dump in there.
I'm worried about kids like hyperventilating if they're claustrophobic. I'm worried about ventilation in a way. There's a lot of things to be worried about if it was any type of thing like that. You know what I mean? Queen is saying that's not it, but yes, and we understand it's probably a much bigger version because you got to fit an actual desk in that piece. But that's kind of a general idea. Okay, so Jack found it, but that's a general idea of what a bubble pod would look like. But Jack now has the other version, so give us a minute. It'll probably be up here in a little bit. Bang! Oh, so that's like the workout pod. Yeah. Holy God. Holy God. That's the workout pod.
It's a clear cage.
So in other words, what those poor kids are all those kids that being held captive right now in cages right now. It's pretty much what they're doing right here. Except it's cellophane and not, wired cages. Anyway, I digress.
And they get to go home at the end of the day.
And they get to go home at the end of the day. That is messed up. Let me see that one more time, Jack. Let me see that one more time. No. I'm talking about the photo that you have behind you. Could you lean out one more time? Wow. Now, that takes up a lot of room. So, in other words, if it was going to be some sort of version of that, those classrooms are going to be hella small. Those classrooms are going to be hella. Like, as far as the amount of people that are in that classroom, it's going to be like 12 at most. You know what I'm saying? 12, and that's scrunching it in. No more passing notes over and seeing if the girl next to you likes you or not. Check yes or no. All those things are gone. That's crazy.
It'd be more like the Matt Damon. How you like them apples?
I got a number. How you like them apples? Wow. I got an Instagram account. How you like them apples? You know what I'm saying? Like that's messed up. That's really messed up. That's really sad. That's sad stuff. I hope it doesn't turn into that. I really don't. We don't need a boy in the bubble type of situation. That's terrible. The Queen just said the new normal. I really hope it's not the new normal. Real talk, I really hope it's not the new normal. That's terrifying to think that could be the new normal everywhere. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible, I do have some more terrible news, unfortunately. It is part of our top news stories. It's one of them that we hadn't covered yet, so we're going to talk about that really quick. China researchers discover a new swine flu with pandemic potential. So, Chinese researchers have discovered a new type of swine flu that can infect humans and has the potential to cause a future pandemic, according to a study released on Monday. Though scientists have cautioned that this virus does not pose an immediate global health threat. The disease, which researchers called G4 virus, like a plane, is genetically descended from the H1N1 swine flu that caused a pandemic in 2009. G4 now shows all the essential hallmarks of a candidate pandemic virus. So, Now they say that this their understanding is that it is a potential pandemic influenza strain, and it meets a lot of the basic criteria, but it's not for sure going to cause a hypothetical 2020 flu pandemic, even or even be a dominant strain in humans. So this is something that they've been seeing in pigs, and now some people have actually contracted this flu-like virus called G4. So that's also something very, very new, and it's not like it's out there in the front, but it's out there. It's out there.
So I read that. So this G4EA-H1N1,
yes,
has been common on China's pig farms since 2016, and replicates efficiently in human airways, according to the study that was published on Monday. So far, it has infected some people, but it has not caused disease. But the experts say that could change without warning. G4 viruses have all the essential hallmarks of a candidate pandemic virus, like you said, and monitoring of it should be urgently implemented. The study that published online in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences is based on the surveillance of pigs in 10 Chinese provinces from 2011 to 2018. In the last 3 years of the study, researchers collected 338 blood samples from workers on 15 pig farms and 230 from people in nearby households. They found that 10.4% of the workers and 4.4% of the others tested positive for G4EA-H1N1, and that workers between the ages of 18 and 35 tested positive at a higher rate, 20.5%. So, yeah, they say it could be that there's no further change in the virus, or it could become more aggressive in people, such as the SARS-CoV-2 did.
You know, I think that they just need to keep a full-on focus on China, period. It just seems like everything's coming from there. Holy God. What is up, man?
And this is news that's dropping out of Hong Kong right now, right? But what just also passed was that China passed their new security measures that allows them basically now to where Hong Kong, if you are pro-democracy, you are now seen as a terrorist or a threat to the mainland China. So now Hong Kong has lost its independent status from China, and so don't expect to be seeing any more news like this anymore coming out of them soon, because it'll be seen as propaganda against China.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Remember those Hong Kong protests that were going on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that time?
Yeah. And then the coronavirus came out. Yeah.
But hey, we allow it to happen so we can get these things for the cheap.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bang.
Got a nice smartphone.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. And it was also, I mean, that's huge news in and of itself. And the Associated Press also yesterday came out with a report showing that China is using widespread use of IUDs and birth control, forced abortions, and sterilization to limit the population of Uyghurs, Chinese Muslim minority in Western China.
Crazy.
Forced abortions, IUDs, sterilizations to try and, I mean, it's cultural genocide. I mean, it's either to...
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's just genocide going on, and we're just allowing it to happen so we can get these things. Yep. Fun times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forced abortions.
Sterilizations, IUDs, limiting of children so that they can keep that Muslim minority a minority. And this isn't even to address the fact that they have re-education camps for this Muslim minority to make them more Chinese, what remains of them. They're trying to wash out in these re-education camps, concentration camps, which many people suspect are being used to harvest organs for organ donations, organ transplants. I mean, China is up to some ugly, genocidal, totalitarian evil, and we're just allowing it to happen because We get cheap electronics and manufacturing that way.
But all these tariffs have gone into place. All these tariffs.
Yeah.
Because that hurts. Oh wait, us.
Yeah.
Raises the prices. Yeah.
That's
but the U.S. has suspended the export of sensitive tech to Hong Kong. It's trying to pass the new national security law. We were friendly with Hong Kong, took Hong Kong's side because they were pushing for democracy, and but now, I don't know if Trump's made any statement towards it or not. I doubt there'll be anything, significant that's able to be done or said. But yeah, China's on. They got a plan. They want full world domination, and they want everyone to follow the Chinese way. So it is slowly implementing. It's they're in it for the long game.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And that's terrible news, man. There's so much I want to say, but then there's not a whole lot to say aside from the obvious. But yeah, that's just really sad. That's sad news. That's really sad news, man.
Yep.
Man, anyway. Moving on, we do have to talk about this other thing. Now, this is something that we have not talked about yet. We have not addressed, and there's this. There's a lot of things going on right now in regards to the protests. There's still a lot of protesting going on, obviously, but there is a new situation that's been going on. It's actually not new. It's an older case that happened last year in 2019, where a young black man by the name of Elijah McClain was killed while being obtained and arrested by the police. Now, he was, of course, beaten and hurt savagely by the police, but then he later on died in the hands of paramedics at the hospital. So there is new protests that have sparked up because of Elijah McClain's case. Now, there have been a lot of people that have been protesting because they wanted to get justice for Elijah because of how he died. Was very suspect. He was, long story short, a 911 call was made with reports of a man in a ski mask acting suspiciously, walking down the street. Elijah was wearing a full-on ski mask, covering everything except for his eyes. He was on his way back home. This 911 call came in. A cop or these police officers came up to answer that particular call. They approached him. They basically, I'm going to jump through all the gritty details, but through them arresting him, something happened where he said the three magical words, "I can't breathe." Through a physical altercation between him and the cops, they put a chokehold on him, making him pass out. The paramedics pulled up. They shot him with ketamine, if I'm correct. What is it? What is it again? It's ketamine, right? Yeah, it's ketamine. Thank you. I saw you shake your head. I'm like, whoa, am I wrong? Okay, so
no, you're
so
right.
They shot him with ketamine.
It's just weird that we're drugging people with ketamine against their will.
Exactly. So he was passed out. They shot him with ketamine, apparently more than what he was supposed to be getting.
It was a therapeutic amount, they said.
A therapeutic amount, allegedly, but it was way more than what his body weight is supposed to be taking. So then, yes, he later on went into a cardiac arrest. He went to the hospital where he later died. Now, there, of course, is a lot of other things that happened in the middle of all this. There's body cam footage. The cops were savages, man. In my personal opinion, they were treating him in such a way. You can clearly see that this was an eccentric man. There's an eccentric young man. I think he was on the spectrum. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think he was on the spectrum. There's a lot of footage that was shown or that is out there where the cops are trying to angle the body cam away from things so that they don't get captured. There's a lot of things that are being said to Elijah while he is being kneeled upon, and all that. It is really, really crazy, and it's terrible, and it's heart-wrenching, and I'm not about to play any of the footage because it breaks my heart every time I hear the video. But there was a vigil just yesterday where people came together, a whole bunch of people who string players, violins, cellos, violas, got together and they did a peaceful violin vigil for Elijah McClain. Now, Elijah was an avid violin player. In fact, he would go and play the violin at animal shelters because he felt that the cats and the animals were lonely. So he would go over there and play the violin for them. This was a gentle human being. This was a gentle man. And the way he died was so unbelievably wrong and so unjust. So people came together to do a violin vigil in behalf and in solidarity and in protest of Elijah McClain. And somehow this violin vigil, this peaceful violin vigil, turned and cops began to spray these violinists and these musicians with pepper spray. I have got to show this video. Now, as you guys know, as I just said before, these people got together to protest because they just want justice for him. They want the state of Colorado was not willing to open up the case to reinvestigate the situation. They were not doing that. I got to turn you guys down real quick. Okay. So, of course, this is a peaceful vigil that went from them just playing music in unison to pepper spray and rubber bullets. Here we go. Go. No. You've got... Now, that obviously was just one piece of it. It obviously escalates into much worse things. The cops come in and they just start blasting everybody. I'm pulling up another one. There's another clip here, guys. Just want to make sure. No, that's not it. But as you can see, that these are just people coming together. It is a peaceful demonstration. And sorry, I'm trying to find the video. and I do not have it. It looks like. But it was a peaceful vigil. It was a peaceful gathering, and it turned into just absolute chaos. Once the cops showed up, everything went really, really bad. Everything went south. So, guys, do you have anything to say in regards to this?
So there is also, to add on to that, at the vigil, they said that there was 3 of the Aurora PD officers are under investigation for taking inappropriate photos at the memorial.
Inappropriate photos?
There was, what's that?
Inappropriate photos?
Yeah, there is basically there's offers. Sources say the photos were disseminated within the Aurora PD to other officers and showed the officers reenacting the hold that preceded McLean's death while at the memorial.
Come on. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, bruh. Tonnerre, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to find the other angle because I had the video, and now it's not here. But obviously, as you guys can see, the video shows the guys coming up, ready to rock and roll. Obviously, I just hate when I see the woman screaming, no, 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 no. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're not here to do anything bad. We're just playing music. You know, of course, there are people in the background that are protesting and saying what they need to say. Of course, but it's a peaceful gathering. Beautiful music's being played. Music that Elijah would have enjoyed. Music that... I know I keep saying it over and over and over again, but I just keep wondering when these things are going to stop. And when people are going to actually start listening to each other. It's heart-wrenching, especially when you hear that kind of story. Then when you see the video, and like I said, I'm not going to play it here because I'll lose it. But if you hear what he's saying, and those are his last words, it's just heavy. And then you got people who came together just to play music on behalf of him. And you got to shoot him down with pepper spray and rubber bullets? It just does not make any bloody sense to me at all.
I mean, it looks like something out of 1984. I mean, just to be totally blunt. It's like a bunch of people peacefully together playing classical music. And then this heavily armed mob, all dressed in black, shows up like they're infiltrating like Osama bin Laden's bunker or something.
Yeah.
For people playing violin music?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing? What are we? Where are we?
This is America.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if you're one of those guys, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of one of those guys that's decked out in like 40 pounds of armor or however much those guys are in. At what point don't you just like kind of look back on yourself and be like, you know, am I the bad guy here? I might be playing on the wrong team. I might be doing some evil.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not have that level of self-reflection where it's like these people are playing violin and I'm moving in like tactical military gear to break this up? I mean, at some point you have to have some level of self-awareness where you like look at yourself and be like, I think I'm playing for the wrong team.
Yeah.
Just following orders.
It makes you wonder, like, when does somebody, like, do these guys ever feel like they go home, take off their riot gear, take off that shield, pull out the cold one, sit back, crack it open, kick their feet up and go, I did good today. I wonder if they ever have any moments of self-reflection, of realizing like, no, I'm a piece of, like what I did was trashy. What I did was not right. Do these people have any sense of having any sort of any sort of conscience. It's beyond me that certain people like this, that there are people out there that will go and do that. You see those people who are just chilling. I got the clip. I'm going to play it for you guys. This is something that needs to be seen.
On Friday, we brought you the story of Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man who died after he was detained by police last year in Aurora, Colorado. McClain was a massage therapist who taught himself to play the violin and the guitar. He was a vegetarian who loved animals. He also had anemia, so he sometimes wore a ski mask to keep himself warm. Last August, he went to the convenience store to buy iced tea, and on his way home, a man called 911 because Elijah McClain was wearing that ski mask and waving his arms. I have to warn you, the body camera footage from when the police confronted McClain is disturbing. In that confrontation, he told police, quote, "I am an introvert. Please respect my boundaries, that I am speaking. I am just different." Instead, they restrained him on the ground and used a chokehold. When the paramedics arrived, they injected him with a strong sedative. On the way to the hospital, McClain had a heart attack and he died a few days later. Elijah McClain's last words are haunting from this person who was clearly not a threat in any way, but who was being treated with this horribly violent force. And that exact dynamic replayed itself in Aurora, Colorado at the site of a protest and a vigil in honor of McClain on Saturday. People congregated to pay tribute to him, to call for accountability for his death, and to play their violins in his honor. And then Aurora police basically recreated the dynamic of his death. Police in riot gear came into the crowd, and look what happened. Police claim they advanced when people pushed down a fence and tore plywood off store windows, threw water bottles at officers. The Aurora mayor has now called for a special meeting of the city council tomorrow. But when you see that video, those folks in riot gear descending upon a peaceful protest, it's not some isolated incident. We keep seeing this kind of thing time and time again in the wake of George Floyd's death and protests over and over. Police deploying levels of force and coercion and violence completely excessive to the needs of the moment. And all of that is having a day-by-day cumulative effect on the public's opinion on policing. It turns out batoning and tear gassing protesters is not going over well. We're going to talk about that ahead.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. I mean, it went from something peaceful to just chaotic, and it was all because, here it is. I'm not trying to throw any police force under the bus. I'm not trying to bash anybody. But when you got something that's peaceful, that was peaceful, y'all. How does it have to go from beautiful music being played, people honoring Elijah McClain, to that, to pepper spray and rubber bullets?
What was the reasoning? Someone outside of the park at a storefront took off plywood from a store, so they stormed the park? That was the reason?
I mean, it's just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
nuts.
Here's what's going to happen. They send these people in all decked out like they're going to war. And they are. They're going to war with peaceful protesters.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen here, and we saw it, you know, a few years back in Dallas, cops are going to get killed because of this. Like, if you really care about cops and their well-being and safety, you have to realize that when they do stuff like this, and I'm not saying all cops are bad, but when you see cops do stuff like this, they're putting other cops' lives in danger, because to a casual observer, that looks like a military force descending on a peaceful crowd. And people are going to respond. people who maybe don't have their mindset right are going to respond, and they're going to kill police officers that didn't have anything to do with this, that maybe are good cops. But we haven't seen the retaliation yet, but we will. And there are going to be cops that die because of this. So if you really care about cops, you better hope they stop doing stuff like this, because there's going to be retaliation.
You know what's very frustrating to me? That we have to see this kind of stuff happen. That we have to witness that type of ridiculous display. Because here's the thing. We all, of course, want things to... Most people want things to have an even balance. You know, we all understand to a certain extent that when we're in trouble, we need somebody like a police officer there to save us. I fully understand that. I understand that there's certain moments that we do need police officers to step in. You know, it's kind of like we understand the necessity of having firefighters, the necessity of having doctors and you know, paramedics, etc. But then you see moments like this, and it makes you feel like, what is the point? Are they really here for the good? It puts hate in your heart. And I can see why somebody would be angry. Some of those people that were there would be extremely angry if you see men and women, police officers that are walking out looking like stormtroopers up in this piece, looking like they're about to get shot off into space, ready to rock and roll. When all these people are doing is sitting there and doing something peaceful, guys. That was a peaceful vigil. Peaceful. That was not an angry mob. By you guys coming in that way, but by the police walking in that way, it gives off a different vibe. Now you're just poking a sleeping bear. Why would you do that? Don't you see that those people that are up there playing music, beautiful music, and everyone's sitting and listening to them in honor of Elijah, in honor of his death? They weren't out there doing anything. They weren't out there throwing rocks. They weren't out there doing anything. It was peaceful.
I can't get over the fact that they drugged him with ketamine against his will. What? I mean, this is why people want to defund the police, because the police totally bungled that situation. Could not have handled it any worse. And I'm talking with Elijah. They messed up that as bad as you could possibly mess up anything. What they needed in that situation was a social worker who understood how to deal with somebody who, you know, maybe had some psychological issues, who was not, you know, a real threat. You don't just drug a guy with ketamine. That's a club drug. But we're going to start like putting LSD in people during interrogations now. We're going to start doing like MK Ultra stuff when we bring people in. It's unbelievable to me that happened. But then you see what else the Aurora police are doing when they're showing up at this violin concert and spraying people and beating them.
You know,
I mean, that entire police department needs to be shut down, disbanded. I don't know if that was a SWAT unit or a state police that showed up to that, or if that was local Aurora police. But whoever that is, they need to shut down, and those people need to reapply for their jobs. And if they can pass increased psych tests, increased temperament tests, then maybe let them back in. But I would say, as of today, all of those police officers that responded to that violin concert should be out of a job. All of them.
I just want to say something. I've listened to and watched the video of Elijah, the moments that led up to his death. Do you know that this man was doing his best to comply? Do you know that, F it, do you know that during the time that they were choking him, he began to vomit? He threw up several times. And each occasion, one of the cops said, "Hey man, get that away from my shoes."
Jesus.
They threw him on the ground, and as he's vomiting, convulsing from the vomit, fighting to breathe, fighting to get a breath, as he's saying all those things of, "I can't breathe, you know, I'm just a little different, I love you guys." He was saying all these things. He was saying all of these things, man. One of the cops has the audacity to say to him, "You keep moving, I'm sicking my dog on you and he's going to bite you." These are the things that are being said throughout this entire thing, throughout this entire body cam situation that is capturing his death. Then we click fast forward a year later where he has not been justified for his death at all. At all. These wonderful, beautiful people out here just playing beautiful music. These barbarians of cops come out and have the audacity to spray people, innocent, peaceful people, with pepper spray and shoot them with rubber bullets. What in the hell is going on here? This ain't Chop. This ain't Chaz, y'all. This was not a riot. And yet, that stuff is passable. That stuff is okay. That's when it's okay. That's when the cops can go act a damn fool. That's justified. Where's the justification in that? A man who's screaming out, pleading for his life. A man who might be a little eccentric, might be a little different, yet you don't approach him in a specific way. Training might be needed when it comes to those things. When he's saying, "I'm a little different, I'm introverted, please understand," he's saying those things. He's pleading for his life. He's on his chest. He's already arrested, and he's saying, "I can't breathe," and he's saying, "I love you guys, please, no, I can't, no." He's saying all these things, just spitting it out like it's just like it's verbal diarrhea because he's just trying to fight for his life. You guys have the audacity to say, "Hey, he's vomiting, not on my shoes. I'm gonna sick the dogs on you if you don't stop moving." The man's not moving. He can't breathe. See, and that's the thing. It's like, what's beyond me is that it took so long for that case to be reopened, because now Colorado finally is reinvestigating that particular case. But it was swept under the rug. No one gave a damn about that. Just another kid being suspicious. And the funny thing is if you see the other footage of him actually at the store, him buying whatever he was buying, I think he was just buying some Gatorades or something like that. Yeah, he had the mask on. I mean, he was literally being kind. He paid in cash. He turned to the guy behind him as he's getting his whatever he was getting from the gas station. He bowed to him, to the guy, out of thanks, and he walked out the door. Where was he being suspicious? Walking down the street, He was walking down the street. Where is he being suspicious? And yet he can't even have a decent vigil. You guys don't even give him the decency of that. This is the reason why people are saying defund the police. Moments like that. Exactly what Tom just said. These are the moments when we go, maybe we need to reorganize how we pay, where the money really is going. Because those two separate moments did not need to happen, period. He was an innocent kid. I'm sorry. Damn it. He was just an innocent kid, man. He didn't do nothing. And he can't even have a peaceful vigil in honor of him. Now everybody looks at that vigil in a negative way. Thank you, Popo. Thank you.
And where are the good cops condemning this sort of behavior? Where is any one cop in a position of authority saying, hey, that's wrong. What happened there is wrong. They all toe the same line, and it just puts the crosshairs on all of them because there will be a retaliation. I mean, we know that there is going to be, like there was in Dallas, and it's not going to be a good thing, but there are going to be cops that die in retaliation to the punk behavior they've been showing. And when they do, they're going to be your normal people on Fox News saying, oh, this was unprovoked, and how could we ever see this happening? And it's like, well, it's these bad cops that are putting good cops at risk by doing this kind of stuff. And the supposed good cops not condemning this bad behavior makes them complicit.
Who's the one that said, hey, go out here and prepare to riot or for riots at this peaceful protest? But I need you guys on standby in the middle of the day to go at this vigil. Like, who is the one that gave that order?
That's what I'd like to know.
It was like they just got, all those cops just got together by themselves and put on the riot gear and then lined up. Like somebody instructed them to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, man. That was not a protest. That was a vigil.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too. I have cried so many tears over the past month. I am tired of crying. I am tired of shedding tears. I am tired of this. I am tired of all the Karens of this world. I am tired of all the BS that's out there. I'm tired of all the riot gear. I am tired of all the protests. I am tired of all this stuff. And I understand that it's necessary. I understand that the protests are necessary. I understand all this is necessary. I just want things to start working out. I am tired of hearing our innocent black men and women getting killed every single time. I'm tired of all these stories getting popped up. I'm tired of seeing all these injustices that are going on. Can we start figuring this stuff out now? I am tired of it. I'm seriously tired of it. Do you think I like talking about this stuff every single day? Hell no. We have got to start taking steps towards making progress. And that's on both ends of this on both sides of this fence. We have got to start figuring something out. Or we're going to start hearing other stories. And instead of it being young, innocent black men and women, it's going to be cops. It's going to be consistent stories about cops getting killed. And we don't have time for that. And we don't need that. Just like we don't need to hear these stories about young black men and women dying too. We need to start figuring something out, and we need to start figuring this stuff out now. Period. A man can't even have an innocent vigil. That was not a protest. I don't care what anybody says. That was not a protest. That was a vigil. I'm sorry. I'm just tired of talking about it. I know we need to. It's necessary. But there is a part of me that's just like, every time I hear something like this, I die a little bit inside. I know that sounds really dramatic, but real talk, I die a little bit inside. You know, especially something like one of those stories, you know, it really gets me. Like the Ahmaud Arbery situation really, really tugged at my heartstrings hard because he didn't deserve that. Just like this young man didn't deserve that. And even so, they still couldn't give that man a proper vigil. They couldn't even give him that simple respect. I'm tired of shedding tears, man. I'm just tired of it. Anyway, I appreciate everybody who's commenting down below and saying what they need to say. But there's got to be a way that we start figuring this. We need to, whatever leaders that need to get into rooms, whatever things need to happen, need to start happening immediately. So we can start taking that step towards utopia, whatever that perfect world's going to be. We need to start making those steps towards something. I'm tired of talking about a Breonna Taylor or Elijah McClain or George Floyd or Eric Garner or Michael Brown Jr. Like the fact that I can say those names, they just roll off the tongue. It's not good. We need to start figuring something out. We need to start figuring that stuff out now. And MB, you're right. We have to keep fighting until those things do stop. I just keep thinking, like, you know, I lost my dad in November. And if I did a vigil on behalf of him in his honor, I know for a fact that that's not how my father represents himself. How that vigil went, like how it went chaotic. The orchestral classical music, absolutely. That's honor and respect. It's beautiful. And for him to say, have it end in chaos and violence, that's not how my dad would want to be represented. And I know for a fact that's not how Elijah McClain would have wanted to be represented. Those policemen, as Jack and Tom also said, and I'll echo what they both said, they have a lot of explaining to do. And I hope that they do something very, very soon. At least slap on something. Suspend them all. Fire them all. Something. Fire them on. All, I mean. terminate their ability to do what they did so that they never do that stuff again. As I said before, the world needs more bartenders. They had no right to do what they did. Anyway, fellas.
Yeah. I couldn't say it any better myself.
Unfortunately, I can't add anything to make it more to the point.
Yep.
But I did see that it's Mike Tyson's birthday today. Maybe we can put all these people in the ring with him, and he can let our justice come
please.
at his hands with no gloves.
And they cannot fight back. They just have to put their hands behind their back and just take the punch straight in the face. See what I'm saying? A knockout punch. Boom. Done. It's a wrap, son. You know what I mean? It's Mike Tyson's birthday, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, happy birthday, Mike Tyson. Anyway, there is something that we didn't get to touch on today, but we will be touching on that. Obviously, I'm going to talk with Tom in a little bit. I will be doing a show tonight, and here it is. I appreciate everybody hearing me out. I appreciate that. You guys, thank you. Jack, Tom, thank you for hearing me. And of course, we got to wrap up the show. So, of course, thank you guys for being on the show today. It really means a lot. Real talk. I want everybody to know that without us moving forward, there is no way that we can make a change. And I think that's something that we all need to start figuring out, and we all need to realize within ourselves. We are all the change. But if we don't do something about it, if we don't make progress, take those steps forward towards change, then change will never happen. It will never happen. We'll just have more Elijah McClain stories to tell. We can all sit here and say we need to have the leaders. And I say this all the time. I say that all the time. We need the leaders to get in. We need the influencers to say this, this, and this. Actually, no. We need to start changing within ourselves because we are the change. You never know how much that will affect everything else around us. Anyway, we got to get going. I will be talking because I know Enemy Nation sent something and we talked about it last night. I will be talking about it tonight. Hopefully Tom could come on for 15, 20 minutes or something like that to talk about the thing that we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, I know how much Enemy respects my position and opinion on things. So yeah, I'll be on.
Okay, great. So most definitely we will be talking about BLM, Marxists, and all that we were going to talk about today. But obviously we got a little, there was a lot to talk about. There's a whole lot to talk about. But we will be talking about that tonight. So I don't want him thinking that I've ever gone back on a promise. We will be talking about that tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or at least that will be one of the topics that we'll be talking about tonight. So be on the lookout. We'll be on live. Tom will be coming on for a little spell to talk about this whole thing. So please tune in 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Fellas, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. Queen just said, man, we got heavy today. I got to find some kids to play with, old people to smile at or something. Clear out this hurt and rage. Have a good day, y'all. Thank you, Queen. I'm sorry it went heavy. But we had to talk about that. I've been holding out on talking about that because I didn't want to. Well, you got to talk about things when you need to talk about things. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't ever want you guys thinking that I ever try to shy away from a subject or shy away from an issue. And this is an issue that's going on pretty hardcore. I don't see what that says right there.
Yeah,
Jack.
your background's kind of blurring it out.
Just read it out.
Sorry.
Read it out real quick.
McGrath won that Kentucky Senate primary.
Oh.
So you can talk about that later, too.
Oh, wow. Okay. Damn. Well, in that case, wow. So she won. Dang. I guarantee he's probably going to ask for a recount. Anyway, moving on, because we can talk about that and dwindle on that forever. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you, everybody. Shaniqua, thank you. Mr. 12, Queen Empress, Mr. Super, Enemy Nation, Nikki, and everybody, MB, everybody else that's been on that I have not said hi to or, acknowledged. Thank you, y'all, for being on. If you haven't done it yet, click that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. It's time to get going. I will see you guys at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for more of The Pascal Show. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. I'll see you guys at 7. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Hey, take up. Ms. Feinberg, I'd really appreciate it if you would close your legs.
Do you find it distracting?
Power, respect. Defensive is crazy in the streets. Deception, the fakers and leaks. Entertainers are trucking for tweakers and losing their circles. Their loves are unique. All of us under surveillance. There was a feeling they made it. Half of them stumbling around and they faded. They live in the world that's degraded for people that's constantly hated.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean, rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.
You're gonna perform
I'm sorry,
tonight.
I can't make this interview boring because this
No, it's
man
not
is
boring.
too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is gonna leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.